Welcome to Orla Outlook. I am Jeremiah Jackson, and today we are here with Coach Wick, Ava Doster, and Hannah Miller. Now, first off, how are you guys doing today?
Awesome.
Great. Doing good.
Now, before we get to the accomplishments, you guys had an incredible season. Let's talk about the expectations going into this year. Did you guys expect to have this kind of season?
Yeah, we expected that we could compete with anybody in the nation. I told the team at the beginning of the year that while we probably weren't going to go undefeated, that any team that was on our schedule we could win. So any given day we could win the match. And we had a few ups and downs during the season, but in the end that certainly proved to be correct.
Yeah. And now, let's get to the GMAC tournament. You guys defeated Cedarville and Hillsdale and then sweeping ODU 3-0 in the GMAC championship. Now, what was the message to your team going into this GMAC tournament, Coach?
Well, at the time, we were 8th ranked in the region. So last year, we were 8th ranked going into the GMAC tournament, and we lost in the semis to Hillsdale, and then we ended up not being selected for the NCAA. So the message was that to not leave it in the hands of a committee and go ahead and win the tournament so that we would get the automatic bid.
Yeah. And from a player's perspective, how is that mindset shift, from a regular season to the postseason, GMAC tournament, and the NCAA Division II playoffs?
I think in the regular season, you know that even if you have a loss, you can kind of come back from it. But especially as a senior, you know that in postseason, if you lose, you're done, likely. So even though we were going in with that ranking, we knew that the best way to secure our spot was to just get the outright bid.
And congratulations to the University of Findlay. They are the 2024 GMAC champions, and they get the automatic bid into the NCAA.
So I think for us, we just took that one match at a time as usual, but like Coach Wick said, we knew that we could beat anyone as long as we played our best. So we just went into every match with that mindset, and it ended up working out for us.
Yeah.
We are the bounce back team.
We are the bounce back team. That's true.
From my perspective, it was always when you're losing in regular season, you still have another game. You still have another chance. You can still do better that next game. Mm-hmm. And when it came to tournament time, you don't have that next game. That could be it. Yeah. So we really buckled down and just said, we don't want to lose this team. We want to win. We want to finish on our terms, and this is how we want to finish.
Yeah. You guys had the bounce back team.
Yeah.
The Big Sean?
Oh, okay, the Big Sean. Okay, yeah. The Big Sean. Okay.
So a couple years ago, we had lost a match. I'm not sure which one it was. It was kind of had us down in the dumps a little bit.
It was a Friday night match.
And so the way volleyball goes, you almost always play Friday, Saturday.
Yeah.
And so we have our group chat, and Coach Wick sent in the Big Sean song. So now it's kind of our thing. Anytime we lose, we're we got a Big Sean it tomorrow.
Yeah.
So yeah.
That's dope. That's dope.
Yeah, last night we took the L, but today
we're
going to bounce back.
Okay. That's a good motto. That's a good motto. Big Sean fan?
At least for now.
Now you guys also had 4 all-conference selections this year, and in the playoffs, you guys had an interview after the Grand Valley State game and talked about how you guys played for one another. Mm-hmm. Talk about the chemistry of this team and how it's allowed you guys to have so much success this year.
Yeah, I'm gonna let the players talk about that first.
Okay. Being a senior, I think I heard a lot this year that people wanted to play for me. And obviously when you know that people are rallying behind you, it makes you want to work just as hard for them. And I think that, like any family, we have our ups and downs, we have our disagreements, but especially when we step on that court, I know that we're all there for each other. So I think just having that mindset where you can look to the left or the right of you on the court and you know that that person's going to give their full effort for you, I think that's what really helps us get through those tough games like that Grand Valley match. And even during the finals, we didn't end up winning, but we still always have that same mentality for each other. So.
For me, I was a freshman last year and I started. And when you're just starting as a freshman, you're terrified. You don't know what's going on. You don't know what to do. Everything's new. And I said this in the last interview, but this year, I actually knew who the girls next to me. I had made friendships. I made connections with the girls next to me. And that made playing so much more meaningful and purposeful. Mm-hmm. And so playing was more than just just playing. If I didn't play well, it wasn't, oh, I'm just disappointed in myself. It was more, they are going to be disappointed in me. So I played for everyone else, and that was very important for me.
One of the things, the coaching staff has worked really hard over the last couple of years to build a culture or a chemistry among the players where they're playing for each other. And we've done a couple of things. We instituted a leadership council. We don't have team captains. We have leadership council, and we have a representative from each of the classes on that council, so that if there's issues that need to be brought up, the coaches meet with them. The idea is to meet once a week, but towards the end of the year, we didn't really have any issues, so we didn't really meet once a week. But if there was an issue, the leadership council knew they could come to the coaches right away and we'd have a meeting. And then the second thing is that I got a little tired of having end of the year meetings with players, and they would come in and they would tell me things that happened during the season, but it's the end of the year and there's nothing you could do about it. So we instituted Oil Spill Mondays, where on Mondays any player can say anything about any other player that's bothering them, or maybe the player just said something or gave them a look, or stole their socks or whatever it was. And then we talk about it as a team and we try to talk it out. So I think that's been very successful. I think most of the players like it. There are a few players that hate Oil Spill Monday, but maybe that's because they get picked on.
Yeah.
Kenzie.
Now, Ava, for you, being a senior, how important was it to have so much success with this team this year, not only for you, but to build the future as well?
Yeah, when I came into this program, one of the main things that I wanted to do was to win a conference championship before I left. So obviously with this being the last year, there's like a lot more pressure for it. But of all of the years, this was definitely a year that I knew we could do it. And so I think that made it all that more exciting, just going into that process with a team that can do it. So when we did win GMAC, that was obviously awesome, but we knew that it wasn't over. So just having the opportunity to get that automatic bid to NCAA was just a new opportunity. We had Hillsdale first round. We had just beat them. We knew we could beat them again. We prepared well, and we executed that plan. So it was just looking towards the next match. I always knew we could win. Even going to that finals match, I had talked with a lot of the other girls and been like, I know we can win this game, and we almost did it. But just to be a senior in this position, I felt like it really encouraged me to be a better leader for the girls, because I wanted to leave a good impression. I've grown a lot through the program, but I wanted them to remember me at my best. So that definitely motivated me to not only play my best, but to be a good leader as well. And to just look back on a career, to have this be the last year, is like just the cherry on top. So it's awesome.
And now also, Hannah, for you, and Coach, you can chime in as well. With the success you guys had this year, how do you guys build that on to next year?
The biggest thing is just reinstilling those morals, those values into our upcoming class, making sure everybody remembers. 'Cause sometimes when you start getting really successful, you lose yourself. And I've seen a lot of people who've gotten really good lose themselves from where they started. And we have to remember that we're not a big school. We're coming up. We're learning to build this program. We're still a new program. This is not a staple. This is not something that we do every year. So in order to become that, we need to make sure we maintain our patterns and maintain our standard.
Yeah. And last question, you guys might have the same answer to this, but I'm gonna ask you guys, most memorable moment of the season. Ava, you can even go career if you want.
Honestly, funnily enough, I would say GMAC, because that's like an obvious one, but kind of like I said, I almost knew we could do that. So for me, it was almost more exciting to just see how far we could go into regionals. So I think that winning that semifinal game against Grand Valley was just one of those moments where it was like, dang, we really made it. We went farther than any other team at this university. Definitely went farther than anywhere I've been while I'm here. So I think just winning that game that no one really thought we could win, that's definitely something I'll remember. Kind of that, we never like to think of ourselves as the underdog, but I think everyone else did. So it was kind of cool to prove people wrong and just have all those girls there to have that memory with.
Yeah.
For me, it was the GMAC semifinals, that very last point.
Oh, yeah.
I got the last kill. And before that, I had 3 airs. And I remember just seeing, I forget, was it you or Emma? I remember whoever said it. I knew I was getting sick.
Oh, it was me.
And I remember the pure dread in my skin, like in my bones. I was terrified.
Miller's going to get a swing at it. She goes off the hands, and that's going to do it.
I remember shaking. I remember as that ball was in the air, I was like, okay, it's going to be okay. You just got to swing. You just got to swing.
Mm-hmm.
And I swung, and we ended up getting the point, and I just remember the pure relief that was in my body, that I didn't mess up, that I was able to pull through, and that was a huge moment for me.
Yeah. Coach, what about you?
You know, I'm not going to say an on-the-court memory. I got more off-the-court memories of the teams, like when we'd have them over to my house and have pizza and that, and we watched, what did we watch? Ashland and ODU.
Or Northwood and Tiffin.
And Northwood and Tiffin. So when we would have watch parties where we'd be watching other teams in the conference, those are the memories that I'll remember most. I mean, there was some great on the court highlights, both awesome plays like Hannah's kill to win the GMAX semifinal, and then there was fun plays that where people use their head in unusual ways when the ball hit it. Or people just doing silly things or falling down or whatever. Lots of those are great memories on the court. But it's really the fact that the team is a family, and it was an awesome year.
Sure was.
Yeah, and sometimes that's the most important. Success off the court leads to success on the court.
True.
But thank you guys for joining us today, and thank you guys for watching Oil Outlook.